Hey guys, what I want to do in this video is just show you how to use your calculator to graph parametric equations as well as polar curves. What you need to do is go to Mode, and what's probably highlighted right now is Function. To graph parametric equations, we want to go over Highlight Parametric and hit Enter. Then we can quit. And if we hit y equals where we normally go to graph, we now see pairs of x and y. That's to put your parametric equations. So if I want to graph the parametric equation x equals 5 times sine of t, we can type that. Notice to get the variable, I'm just hitting this xt theta n button. And we can make y equal to, how about 6 cosine of 2t? Then the other thing I want to point out is under Window, you can choose Tmin and Tmax. So if I want to look at this for t starting at 0 and going up to 12, I can do that. The rest of these are just what you're used to, how far left and right your graph goes, how far up and down your graph goes. Let's change this for fun. Let's make y1 equal to 5 times sine of 2t. Oh, now we have an interesting figure 8 pattern. We imagine that this figure 8 is going around and around and around. Because I'm using trig functions, most likely the period is 2 pi. So I could go to the window, graph only from t equals 0 to t equals 2 pi, and see if I still get that entire figure 8, which I do. Let's see now what happens if I graph from 0 to pi. Well, then we only get half of our figure 8. Last thing to point out is I can trace, and what I want you to pay attention to is the t value. So t is starting at 0, and as I hit the right arrow, t is going up, even though the point in the xy plane is not necessarily going up. Now for polar coordinates, you're going to go to Mode. In this same line where you see Function and Parametric, go over to Polar and quit. And now when you hit the y equals button, you will see r equals. Say I want to graph r equals 5 cosine of theta. I get the theta by pressing the variable button again. I can again go to the window and choose values for theta. So this currently has theta going from 0 to 2 pi, which seems like a good start. Let's hit graph. Okay, and we see this. Now, it's a little bit hard to tell, but this is actually a circle. If we zoom square, it's more convincing. Okay, so the main point of all of this is to change the mode. You hit Mode. You can choose Function for your regular y equals a function of x, Parametric, or Polar.